I got the chance to watch Top Gun and its sequel, Top Gun Maverick. So in this video, we're going to be reviewing both of these classics coming up next. Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you guys for tuning into the video. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. I've got a special one for you today because today we're going to be talking Top Gun. I actually watched Top Gun for the first time ever a few days ago, so I was able to kind of brief myself going into Top Gun Maverick. But before we fly into the danger zone, if you guys can just do me a favor, that was such a bad joke. If you guys can do me a favor and just subscribe down below and like the video, do all the YouTube stuff. It really helps out the channel, and I can't really do this without your guys' support. So how this video is going to work is the first part of the video, I'm going to be talking about Top Gun 1986. That's the very first one. And then after, I'll talk about Top Gun Maverick. There are going to be spoilers for the first Top Gun because it is like 35 years old, so I'm sorry. But Top Gun Maverick, there's not going to be any spoilers. I won't spoil that for you guys. So let's talk about Top Gun.
I feel the need for speed.
Top Gun follows Pete Mitchell, aka Maverick, a rebellious fighter pilot, and his wingman Nick Bradshaw, aka Goose, as they get invited to the most elite U.S. Navy fighter weapons school, aka Top Gun. This movie is a classic 80s movie, and that's kind of the best way to put it because all these 80s movies kind of have the same feel. Top Gun is really like a love story smashed in between a bunch of fighter pilots and aerial scenes. So yes, the movie Top Gun is about fighter jets, but really it focuses a lot on the relationship between Goose and Maverick and his instructor Charlotte Blackwood. That's the love story of the film. Honestly, there's a lot to like about this movie. The comedy is classic 80s comedy. It's not very raunchy. They don't cuss a lot, and that's not what makes it funny. It's more like silly and like, you know, playful, goofy comedy, you know? For example, there's a scene where they're at a bar trying to impress a woman, and the whole bar just breaks out in song, again, trying to impress this woman, and it's such a great scene. Stuff like that is what makes the movie fun to me. Goose was also kind of my favorite part of the movie. He was so charming and he was hilarious. He's basically just the perfect wingman. The music is great. Who's gonna complain about hearing Danger Zone in a movie? Not me. And when the music swells up, spoiler alert, when Goose dies, and that music really just hits you as you kind of piece together that he's dying, it really kind of saves the movie for me, in my opinion, because you know, that scene could have been done so much better. And I think that the pacing was a little off. I feel like it happened a little too quick. And then all of a sudden he's dead. The music really helps me feel emotional for that. Let's talk about the acting for a little bit. The acting was great. There was a few instances where it's not amazing, but you know, that's just the 80s. Everybody is just doing the bare minimum kind of. And then if you get a couple of people who want to go far and beyond, then yeah, that's it. Everybody was pretty good in here. I have nothing to complain about. Tom Cruise is fantastic. He plays this cocky rebel who doesn't really like listening to people and in turn gets his best friend killed. He deals more with this in Top Gun Maverick, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Anthony Edwards, who plays Goose, like I said, he was my favorite part of the movie. Kelly McGinnis is also cool. She's able to make me believe that Kelly McGinnis could be a flight instructor. Val Kilmer, in my opinion, he was written to be the hero of the movie. He's like basically written as the main character. This is like the person that you want to root for, but for some reason everybody roots for Tom Cruise. Even me, I still root for Tom Cruise in this movie. It's just kind of weird that Val Kilmer's character seems more like the main character than the actual main character of the movie. That's just a small little gripe. Honestly, it doesn't even fucking matter because this is Top Gun. It's just a classic movie. There's certain movies that you can't think too much about because if you think too much about it, you're just going to end up hating everything that you watch. I feel like sometimes people don't know how to watch something that is like not perfect and not be able to have fun with it. This is one of those movies where I can watch it and just kind of turn off my brain and just have fun with it. But if you really want me to think about it, I think this could have been a really cool movie. I just don't think that it was executed as well as it could have been. Again, that's just me thinking way too hard about a movie. If you turn your brain off and you just enjoy what you're watching, you're going to enjoy it 100 times out of 100 times. It's Top Gun. It's Tom Cruise. The movie is an instant classic. It's not perfect, but there's so much fun to be had with this movie. I definitely understand why people love this movie, and it's just an 80s classic romance movie starring Kelly McGinnis and Tom Cruise. with fighter jets. I usually like to base movies on how well the film is actually made, but for movies like this, again, like I said, I just turn my brain off and let it enjoy what I'm watching. And that's exactly what I did for Top Gun. Now, let's talk about Top Gun Maverick. I got the chance to watch this one, and man, so obviously you guys just watched my Top Gun review right now, literally like 30 seconds ago. It doesn't seem like I'm too crazy about it, right? I'm crazy about this movie. Again, like you saw, I wasn't a huge fan of Top Gun. I didn't think it was amazing. It is a classic, I'll say that. It is a classic 80s movie. Top Gun Maverick is such a well-made movie. It's such a well-made film, and I have to talk about it. It's set 36 years, something like that, a long time after the first one. As we know from the original Top Gun, Goose is dead, and we get to see his son in the movie, who goes by this call sign of Rooster. As for Pete Mitchell, he's been bounced around the Navy, just finding odd jobs, I guess, and he gets assigned to instruct a group of fighter pilots who all graduated from Top Gun and basically get them ready for a mission that nobody else can get them ready for except for Maverick. It sounds a lot like the first one, right? It sounds basically like a copy and paste of the first one. This one is so detailed and well made. It feels like they took a lot of care for the character of Pete Maverick Mitchell, while also building on what the original movie did, and kind of taking what happened in that original movie and making consequences for what happened in that original movie. It's like a perfect sequel. I definitely think it's better than the first original Top Gun. This movie feels so impactful and emotional. Number one, I'll tell you guys something. I got really emotional when I was watching for the first 5 minutes, because in the beginning, before the movie even starts, Tom Cruise comes in and he starts talking to you about how important filmmaking is to him, and basically how he just wanted this movie to be released in theaters. He needs you guys to see this movie in theaters. That's exactly how I feel, because movies belong in movie theaters, and this movie, if it would have came out on streaming services, I would have been so upset, because I'm really glad that I saw this in the IMAX theater, in my Titan XC theater. This movie is fantastic. The cinematography is just crazy. I love the fact that they took so much detail in finding the perfect shot for a certain sequence. They really nailed it with this movie, and I can't say that enough. Just looking at it from filmmaking perspectives, it's a beautiful movie. From writing perspectives, this movie deals with so much character, particularly with Maverick, because it's obviously called Top Gun Maverick. In the first one, Tom Cruise was kind of just a cocky asshole, and you're rooting for him, but you're kind of just rooting for him because, he's the main character of the movie. This one, I really felt a connection with with Maverick, because he's going through the death of his best friend. He still struggles with that guilt. Meanwhile, he has another love interest. It's just an amazing story that I think is kind of the perfect sequel that they could have made to Top Gun, especially 35 years after. Let's talk about Miles Teller real quick, who plays Goose's son, aka Rooster. He's great in the movie. You really believe that this guy could be Goose's son. He looks exactly like him. It's uncanny. Such an amazing actor. I can't really say so much more about him. Tom Cruise, I think this is probably Tom Cruise's best role. He just has so much to play with here. He has the action, and then he also has the emotional beats that he has to hit too, and he does that so well here. The action scenes are so much better than the first one. It obviously it's 2022. It's been 35 years, but it's not all CG, which I really appreciate. Tom Cruise really wanted it to be practical. He didn't want to use a lot of CG, and you can really definitely tell that this is all practical. I couldn't find one CG shot when I watched it for the first time. Probably for the second time, I'll see a couple CGI shots. But for the most part, for the most of the 2-hour movie, it's all practical. And that is so impressive, considering the fact that they're actually flying these planes. The action, though, is just so well done, because you get to see all the action, which I really love. The first Top Gun, you didn't really get to see much. You just saw planes flying. But as soon in this movie, as soon as one person makes a move, you can see that person making that same move in the next shot. If that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. That's just how my brain works. You can literally see the progression of what's happening throughout the entire scene. I hope that makes sense, but the action is really good in this. It literally feels like you're flying. And just a side note real quick, this would have been really cool. I would have loved to see Tom Cruise as Iron Man, because originally he was supposed to play Iron Man in that first one. And by the way, I reviewed Iron Man. I'm reviewing all the MCU movies, so if you guys want to check that out, you guys can go ahead and click down below. But yeah, it would have been really cool to see Tom Cruise as Iron Man. So basically, this movie just has a bunch of stuff to do with the character of Maverick and him basically getting over the fact, not getting over, but just finding closure and, repairing old wounds that he had from 35 years ago. And man, it's such a beautiful movie. I absolutely loved it. This might be one of my favorite movies of all time. Seriously, it might be one of my favorite movies of all time. Just because of how well the story is handled, the cinematography, the music, the action scenes, it's all really, really good, and I cannot recommend this movie enough. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go watch this again, honestly. I'm gonna watch this maybe like tomorrow or something. Anyways, guys, yes, let me know what you guys thought about Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick down below in the comment section. I really enjoyed both of them, especially Top Gun Maverick. I cannot recommend that one enough. You guys have to go see this, especially in a movie theater. But that's all the time I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and clicking subscribe and clicking the like button and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. It helps out the channel a lot. Anyways, guys, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.